Is maintaining your daily weight a daily challenge? Our next guest says if you are constantly eating when you aren't hungry, your emotions could be what's really controlling your fork. Relationship expert Dr. Patty Ann Tublin is here with some tips for losing weight and keeping it off. Nice to have you back on CT Style.
Great to be here. Good morning.
So Dr. Patty Ann, I feel like a lot of people are just constantly eating. They don't know why they're doing it. It kind of turns into a habit. Why is this?
Well, believe it or not, this statistic is amazing. 80% of all overeating is emotionally driven.
So you're not hungry. You don't need the food at that point.
Exactly. Think about it. Let's say it's noon and you had lunch. And an hour later, you're reaching for whatever, the refrigerator, a snack. Chances are it's not because you're hungry. So what is it? It's your emotion. Either somebody angered you, depressed you, some news was upsetting for you. It's usually not the food that's creating the overweight.
So it's kind of like a crutch. We're just reaching for something, right?
Yes, something, comfort food, that's why they call it that.
That makes sense. So you have some keys to losing the weight and keeping it off so we avoid this emotional eating. And number one, you say just to ask yourself if you really need it.
Right. So I created this method, I call it the ABC method, right? It's as easy as ABC because so many people that I work with, a lot of their emotions are also tied into their body image. That's a big one, especially for girls and young girls today, but really it's for everybody. So if you find yourself reaching for food, ask yourself, what am I really trying to do?
Okay.
Because chances are you're not trying to satisfy a hunger need. You're probably trying to fill an emotional need. And food then won't really fill it. So you will constantly need to get more to fill something, but you're going to the wrong tool, if you will.
Just keep eating, and that's not going to work out either. All right, so B is put the brakes on.
Right, B, break. So the professional term for this is a mindful pause. Reach for the food, stop, and think to yourself, what am I doing? What is really driving this need for food? Because chances are it's, again, not the hunger.
Got it. And then lastly, C?
C, make a conscious choice to distract yourself.
Okay.
So you realize you're not really hungry. You realize it's an emotion, and usually it's a strong emotion, and it might even be boredom or you're lonely. A lot of people overeat at night because they're bored.
Sure.
Make a conscious decision to choose an alternative. Maybe make a cup of tea or get up and read a book. Change whatever situation you're in that's making you reach for the food and distract yourself with something that might be healthier where you're being kind to yourself. Otherwise, it's literally a bottomless pit.
Sure. Some people, though, are they addicted to food or do they think they're addicted to food?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
Yes and
okay.
yes. Some people actually are addicted to the food because that's the only way they know how to fill a need, and it's temporary.
Sure.
It's temporary, right? Like alcohol, people will drink when they're sad because they think it will make them feel better, and initially it will. But then it becomes a depressant, and then it backfires on you. The same with food. You eat food to feel better, and then you've eaten a whole sleeve of Oreo cookies, and then you feel
terrible about yourself, right?
Exactly.
It's like a pattern. It's tough to break.
Right, and then it's also just a bad habit. So, you know, technically it's considered an addiction if there's a biochemical, a biological reaction, and your chemistry craves the food, as opposed to a bad habit that's easier to break.
Sure. So make conscious decisions when you're reaching for something. And Patty, I wanted to talk briefly, about a minute left, about your book, because I'm an expectant mom. It feels like something I could benefit from.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I have a best-selling book called Not Tonight, Dear, I've Got a Business to Run. And it's a true book on work-life balance, where I show you how to create a business plan for your career, and then create a family plan that complements the business plan and vice versa. So there's really no such thing as a balance, but whatever your career goals are, you want that to match what your family goals are, and whatever family goals you have, you want that to match your career. So you're a new mom, right? So exciting, but it's a world of change.
Right.
So you need to put some new things in place that works for you. When you have your second, Teresa, what worked for your first won't work with your second, and then you'll go back and you revise the plan, and you already have it written out. So it really works. Don't worry about the balance, just worry about creating goals that work for your individual lifestyle.
And Patty, yeah, you're living proof here. You have 4 kids, and you seem to have the nice balance.
I really do. I mean, I'm lucky because I have a supportive husband, and I've my work is important to me and I love it, but you absolutely can do it, but you don't leave it to chance. Don't think I'll figure it out on the fly. It won't work.
Plan it out. Patty Ann, thank you so much for being here. And do you have a website we could find some more information?
Sure, go to drpattyann.com.
Very nice. Thank you again.
Thank you.